Deputy Prime Minister Grant Robertson's with us. Good morning.
Morning, Mike.
This bloke who ran, why was he allowed to self-isolate?
Well, he wasn't allowed to self-isolate. What that was that he was identified, I think, on Wednesday morning as somebody who had tested positive for COVID, as is the case for everybody. They've got to do a few checks and then the person will get picked up. As I best understand it, he took off from his home at that point, went for a drive. Someone must have called the police because they went round to his house. He stayed there, and then in the evening on Wednesday he was picked up and taken to the isolation facility, from which he then took off.
Why so many hours?
Oh, that's not too bad, Mike. I mean, it does take time. We've got a number of people we're picking up. You know, we're up to 700 odd cases now, so that's...
No, sorry. Why so many hours since he escaped before he got nabbed again?
Oh, sorry. Look, that was down to from the piecing together of the timeline that we've got, that his family identified that he had left at about 10:30 or 11 in the morning. They then contacted the staff. The staff then contacted the police, and the police then undertook their operation. So from the time in which it was identified to staff, it wasn't that long.
Bloody hell. Why don't you just keep these people in the rooms like I've been arguing all along, just like Australia does? You don't leave. 14 days, no one goes anywhere.
Well, it's not prison, Mike, and we've never said that. This is a managed isolation facility, and I do think it's worth pointing out that across 170,000 people, there have been 16 abscondees.
Yeah, but
let me finish,
what?
Mike. That's
So
1 in
what?
10,000.
So what?
It means that the facilities are doing a good job. It means that this is a system that has not only supported a lot of New Zealanders to come back from overseas, but it's supported us to keep us safe from COVID.
Yeah.
Every now and then,
this is a game of one mistake, though, isn't it? This is a game of one mistake. Level 4, a guy with COVID's in the community for hours on end. It only takes one.
Yeah, and what we're saying here, Mike, is we do our level best, but no system is going to be perfect. And this system has done New Zealand proud over the last couple of years. We haven't had a single abscondee since July last year, but if someone's determined to do this, they've shown that they can. We now go back and we look at all the security procedures and we make sure that we make them as tight as we possibly can do. But in this case, this particular person, it appears, has gone out into a level 4 environment. So bear in mind that there shouldn't be lots of people wandering around without masks or anything like that, and it appears it's a fairly low-risk transgression, but it is a transgression all the same. We'll do the investigation to make sure it doesn't happen again.
And what's with the breach of public trust with the Prime Minister knowing full well and saying nothing?
Well, no, that's not accurate at all. The Prime Minister, on her way down to do the 1 p.m. press conference, was made aware that there was an incident. There was not a lot of detail, but critically, Mike, it was a live police operation. It would have been irresponsible for the Prime Minister to have given out details before that was complete.
Really? You didn't want to alert the public to a person in the community in a level 4 lockdown with COVID?
That was a police operation, Mike. It would have been irresponsible for the Prime Minister to have gone down with very few details. Bear in mind, she had the sketchiest of details of an incident that was still live, that was communicated as soon as it was the responsible.
But the guy had been on the run for hours at that point.
Well, the police had only been made aware very, within an hour perhaps of before that. They were in charge of the operation at that point. It was still a live operation, and information was provided as soon as it was responsible to do so. Mike, in this situation, clearly something happened that none of us are happy about. But the reality is it's one incident in a year, more than a year. We'll make sure it doesn't happen again,
Really?
But no system is perfect.
What about the third student who apparently wandered into the airport, jumped on a plane and took off back to uni?
I haven't heard anything about that.
Well, there's 3 now.
Obviously, we had the earlier 2 incidents. We do rely on both airport and airline security to make sure that people aren't flying unnecessarily at this point in time. And obviously, we've put in place measures at those airports to do that. I'll have to have a look into that one.
Business community coming Stuart Nash's way today, some sort of extension or boost to the resurgence package. Are you empathetic?
certainly listening to the business community and working alongside them. I've been having the same conversations with the Auckland Chamber and other businesses. We put in place that resurgent support payment. This is the first time it's been here for a major outbreak like this, and we continue to monitor it. I'm fully aware of the pressure that's on the business community, and the supports that we've been able to give over the last 18 months have helped the economy recover really well. So we continue to make sure we look at that, and I'll be interested to hear from Stuart after his conversation with them today.
The extra vaccine that you've been talking about now for close to 2 weeks, where is it?
Well, those discussions carry on, Mike. We've still got vaccine coming into the country via the normal delivery.
No, above and beyond. Who are you talking to? Have you been offered vaccine?
Look, I'm not going to get into those discussions and negotiations, Mike. You understand that they're sensitive, but they are continuing, and as soon as there's something to say, we'll say it.
Well, you said by the end of the week. It's the end of the week.
Yeah, and as soon as there's something to say, we'll say it.
So you still don't have anything to say even though it is the end of the week? Or you do have something to say and that'll happen today?
Look, in the end, those announcements will be made when they're ready to be made. Good work's being done. This is a challenging area. This is obviously everybody in the world.
Morrison's drummed up $1.5 million in a couple of days.
Well, I wouldn't think it was in a couple of days, Mike. There would have been a lot of work that went on before that, just as there's a lot of work going on by us.
But he's still got $1.5 million out of Poland and out of Singapore. Why haven't we?
Well, let's just see where we get to.
What's that mean?
Well, it means we're continuing to talk. We're continuing to have discussions with those that can help us get additional doses. And, it's the result of the fact that we've been able to ramp the program up. We're doing everything we can to be able to keep that momentum up. And as soon as there's something to say about it, you'll be among the first to know, Mike.
Here's my real problem with level 4. You've really only got a week now, if not less, to get those numbers really down to convince us it's not going to go beyond 4 weeks.
Yeah, look, let's just wait and see where we go. The trend is good here. Level 4 is doing its job, but Delta is a tough opponent. And so I agree with you that the next few days, the next week is pretty critical to what happens, but it is working, and it's the reason why we do need all Aucklanders to continue to follow those rules as tough as they are, because it gives us a fighting chance here, and the trend has been good.
Appreciate your time very much. Have a good weekend. Grant Robertson, Deputy Prime Minister, 14 past.